We took this opportunity to wash our packs. Overall, not bad for a month on trail.
There's a lot of greasy, grimy gopher gut salt and body slime in there, let me tell you.
Okay, so went to Dunkin'. Dunkin' is very confusing. This morning when I got up at like, dark 30, you could only come through if you were a car, and there were a million cars, so I went to the gas station. But when I went back to get our breakfast, you could go inside and only order from the kiosk and only use your credit card. We stopped in the edge of the woods to get like a fuel canister and a few other things. They got a nice little selection of stuff if you should need it. And it's not far from the roadway at all. It's just down the street. They have fuel canisters. They normally have permethrin, but they're out. But they do have picaridin. They have some backpacker pantry stuff. You know, all the hiker things. We are waiting for Marty. We just talked to Minnie and Citrus, who said, what? YouTube slimmed down. So there's that. We are at dinner at Sycamore Grill. Chicken piccata. Stuffed chicken marsala, I think it was. Yeah, the barbecue place was closed, so we came here instead. Good choice?
So far.
Oh, look.
You look ridiculous.
Chips.
Jeez. Help me. Just help me. Okay, so instead of doing the wrap up last night, because no, thank you. I
Can't have my taster cake.
Please stop. So today was a 0 day in Delaware Water Gap, and first of all, thank you to Marty. Marty shuttled us into Walmart, which was ridiculously busy for a weekday in the middle of the day. But we got stuff we needed, and they even let us make a quick stop at Giant for some stuff that they didn't have.
It's crazy how many people were in Walmart on Wednesday at noon. It was nuts.
Yeah. So we got the resupply part done. We were going to go to Bosco's for an early dinner, kind of a dinner.
Yeah.
But they were closed due to staffing issues. We've been encountering that a lot at places. So, when you get on the trail, be sure, I looked on their website yesterday, said they were going to be open today, but they weren't. So we went to Sycamore Grill.
It was good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a splurge for us, but it was okay. We're almost done with Pennsylvania, so we splurged. But
Survived Pennsylvania.
yes, which brings us to yesterday.
No, I didn't say we dashed through it triumphantly. I just said we survived it.
Yeah, barely. So the whole Wolf Rocks thing, oh my God. Like I said, Goldilocks and Bryson had talked to some people that said they did the bypass. It was a thing of beauty. And she said, we're going to do it. And I was like, yeah, I would like to do it. But the whole thing was, I felt like such a sissy about Knife's Edge because it was so hard for me. I was going to face my fears. And
She did. She faced him, boy.
Holy moly. And the thing was, the rocks, I was like, I can deal with the rocks.
She's like, you go first, she says, because I'm worried.
Wait, I'm not done. The whole comments about the snakes, I was really concerned about the snakes. But
That's why you wanted me to go first.
I was thinking, we're going early in the day. Is that thunder?
No.
No, it's somebody upstairs. We were going early enough in the day, and I thought, the snakes will be like doing whatever snakes do early in the day. Well, we found out what snakes do early in the day. They lurk under rocks and try to kill hikers. That's what they do. It was terrifying. So the whole story is, we're going along.
No worries.
I told him to go first. I told him to go first because I thought, well, he'll clear out all the snakes. And again, we were, 9 miles from getting out from Pennsylvania, and this is how many rattlesnakes we had seen. This many. No rattlesnakes. So,
we saw a lot of other snakes.
Well, not a lot.
Copperheads, ringnecks,
We've only seen two
snakes.
copperheads, and we've seen a lot of harmless snakes. So we're going along. He's in the front, and it's nothing like Knife's Edge. It's much, much, much less steep, much, much less terrifying. And we're going along, and I'm feeling very empowered by the fact that I went and did this. And we stopped on the overlook.
So there was a mistake made.
Well, but we stopped on the overlook, which honestly wasn't a very good overlook. No. It was not worth everything that ensued within 5 minutes.
And he's like, okay, so you going in the front again? I'm like, yes, I am. So I go along.
She just charged in front. I'm like, okay, I guess she wants to go in front.
Well, I thought we were through it. Because we had been to the overlook, and I thought, well, we're done with the snakes. So we come, and I'm like, I look down, and there is a very tiny snake that does not look like a good snake. He was little.
He's about this big.
And he couldn't see it.
No, I couldn't see it.
Totally. I kept pointing. I'm like, it's on the rock.
I was looking for a snake, not a pencil with a little shaky tail.
He was tiny. And he was rattling his little rattler, and then he started annoying him.
Probably, 10, 15 inches long, something like that.
So Rich gets him off the trail. We scoot by, and I'm like, okay.
And then he's just sitting under a rock, all coiled up,
And I'm like, there's no way we're going to see any more snakes. We haven't seen any other snakes in Pennsylvania. He's a nope rope. We're done with that. Au contraire. So I'm going along, and there's this place where the boulders are really pretty big, and there was one that had some space underneath it, and I was putting my foot up to go on the one that has the blaze on it. So this snake is lurking right where it knows that hikers are going to come. And I'm going slow. I'm banging my trekking poles because I don't like snakes. And I reach my foot out, and I hear and I'm not exaggerating. At this point, I'm being very serious. A super loud, super close rattle. We never actually saw the rattlesnake, but as loud as it was not a little tiny one like the last one. It might have been the mother. And of course, I went completely girl at that point, which I'm extremely embarrassed about.
Flailing ensued.
Well, no, I pulled my foot back so fast, I landed on my tuchus. And then I'm like, all I can think of is this, which of course it would never do, the snake coming to take its revenge on me. And I'm like a turtle on my shell, on my pack, and I'm like shrieking for Rich to get me up. And then that's when this happened. And that's what I feel the worst about, is it I don't think it stretched the tendon in his finger. So that was terrible too. But
didn't hurt.
We got around it. We got out of it. And when we went to the shelter and talked to the trail maintainer, she was like, oh, this is the perfect day for the rattlesnakes. They're out chasing frogs. I didn't know that was a thing. Now I do. And she said, no, your reaction was not over the top. That's a terrifying situation when you cannot see the snake, but you know it's right there. So that was what happened. I mean, thank heaven nobody was hurt. Well, mildly wounded. But enough of that. So we got in, and we were on the fence about a 0 or double 0. Pass the ball to you.
We're going to attempt a single 0 and go back on trail tomorrow. I haven't totally recovered from Pennsylvania in the last since April 1st. It's been 2 months, and I've been pushing the old body pretty hard the last couple months, but we'll see how it goes tomorrow. And I think I can hang on trail for just see how I do. And according to some friends and stuff that I've talked to, they say the trail gets a little bit better ahead, and if it does, I think I'll be fine.
The heat's been a huge issue for us, and it's supposed to cool off.
Yeah, that 100-degree heat index was terrible. I've got bad chafing under both arms. I don't know if you can see it.
Well, and we think it's from him using the Pedialyte Sport. Just a heads up, because we were looking online last night, because he always wears merino wool shirts, and he's never had any problems.
No, never.
And apparently, if you get too much salt in your system, it acts like sandpaper.
Yeah, when you're sweat, because there's so much salt in your sweat. And I really, like she said, I pounded a couple of Pedialyte Sports yesterday.
In the packets.
Because it was a 100-degree heat index, and a couple of nights before, I'd be getting some pretty bad cramps and stuff from sweating so much. So I wanted to make sure I didn't have any trouble during the day, and it got me through the day. But I'm just going to have to back off on that a little bit. I'm going to use Propel instead of the Pedialyte because it has a lot less salt. I mean, when you pour this stuff in your drink, you can see chunks of the minerals and the chunks of salt and everything.
And I've been drinking it right along. Maybe that's why I'm having so much trouble with heat rushing.
Well, it's a pretty stout mineral replacement for the sweating, and I sweat an embarrassing amount.
Everybody's been sweating. It's been ridiculously hot. So tomorrow, Larry and Kathy, the gallivanting hikers, are going to help us They're going to meet us here at the hotel and take us back to the trailhead and light pack us. And the plan is for them to meet us at a parking lot that's like 14 miles up.
Yeah.
Now, if the chafing and stuff is too much for him, the fallback is to ask them, which they don't even know this yet, but they will in the morning, to meet us at the Mohican Outdoor Center. If it becomes too uncomfortable for him, we may just have to take like 3 or 4 days, and we'll just maybe see if we can rent a cabin or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll be okay, but
Who knows?
you know, we'll see. I may need some time to heal up, but you know, right now the chafing is, I mean, it looks worse than it feels. I mean, I barely even notice it. I've been running around here all day, and we read permethrin to all of our gear and our clothes today.
The bugs are getting bad.
Because it's been about 6 weeks since we treated all of our stuff, and we know we're in prime tick season. Not that there isn't ever. I mean, ticks are everywhere, every day of the year.
Right. But yeah, as far as Delaware Water Gap, it's a nice little town.
Man, that apple pie bakery. Oh my gosh.
It's the real deal.
Woo-wee.
Real deal. Now,
Man,
I
that's
still
nuts.
haven't completely figured out this whole hotel situation. The Clarion people pay more money. I know they have coffee in their room. I don't know what else they get in the way of additional freebies. But the Rodeway Inn people, we're over here with them, and we don't have coffee in our room. But Dunkin' Donuts is right over there, and they open at 4. So yeah,
It's pretty good coffee.
it's not bad. And you know, the Gulf Station and the Sunoco are walking distance. The bakery is really close. I mean, nothing's very far.
Man, if any of y'all come to Delaware Water Gap, you've got to go to that apple pie bakery.
Yeah, and Marty is
That's
opening like a
nuts.
new hostel, which if you look in Gut Hook, you'll see the comments. He's calling it a flop house right now because he's redoing a very old home.
Yeah, nice guy. You know.
If you're tight on budget, it's a consideration for you. I know Wicked, and she's the one stayed there. We didn't get to hook back up with them. We were going to try to share a Walmart shuttle, but it just didn't work out. But yeah, I guess, we've come almost 600 miles. We should flip over 600 miles tomorrow. Yeah. And I'm doing really, really well. I hope that he'll be good to go, but if not, we'll just take some days either at Mohican, or maybe we'll see if our trail angels will take us somewhere where, I mean, if he needs to get off trail tomorrow, we need to take like 3 days. We'll take a long weekend and just recharge. But hopefully that will happen.
That's just so hard for me to just have to pull the plug and call a game and take a couple days off, because, man, I'm always used to being able to power through stuff, but
we'll see.
I'm not 34 anymore, so
no, you're not.
You older guys that are out here doing this, you can get hurt and you can come back and you can do it and everything like that, but man, you gotta listen to your body. And
we watch the kids. I mean, there was a girl yesterday that right after when that view that we had was on a power line, and she was laying on her mat, her sleeping pad, looking up. She came from Georgia, and the storm was getting ready to come, and she looked like she had a rocket tied to her. She was gone so fast. She was probably in Delaware Water Gap before we got a mile.
I looked at our pace, and we weren't going all that slow when she passed us. We were, bouncing through those rocks at about 25-minute miles, and for me in those rocks, how tired I was from the last few weeks of Pennsylvania, I was doing pretty good, I thought. And this girl, man, she was probably running 18-minute miles through those rocks.
And I mean, that's the thing. When you're older, you just have to hike longer and hike slower. But it's not bad. But he's just. I think the heat's always kind of been a challenge for him.
Yeah, it's weird because we lived in Florida a really long time, and I used to wait until after the thunderstorms would come through Sarasota when the steam was coming up off the ground and go run in that crazy stuff. I really enjoyed it, but since I've gotten older, man, I can't handle the heat like I used to. But it's just a different hike for us older folks than it is for the younger ones. I mean, it's just different. I mean, we've got to be gracious and accept the help and be humble and be appreciative and just listen to our bodies and just take our time and keep just keep your head in the game and not lose track of the fact that it's a marathon, not a sprint. you have to pay attention and listen. And there was a period of time earlier today that I felt really good, and I was like, man, I could have hiked today. But we went out to dinner, and I sat in that hard chair for an hour or so while we were having dinner. We had a great time, and man, I'm telling you what, I went to get up out of that chair and come back to the room, and that was hard. I just got all stiff and stuff, and I had a heck of a time, which tells me that, I did the right thing by taking the zero. I'm glad I did.
Yeah. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this little update. And Delaware Water Gap is a great little town, and you'll enjoy it. And
Oh yeah, great place for zero. Yeah,
if you
it's
can
awesome.
see the state of this room, you'll know why we have to cut this short and start picking up
Oh
all
man,
this
it's a
crap.
total explosion. Yeah.
Oh, it's worse.
we
We
had to-
washed our packs.
Yeah, we washed our packs in the
Well,
tub
you saw
today.
that, yeah.
They weren't all that disgusting. I was surprised.
But when we drained the water, there was a lot of dirt.
Yeah, but I mean, the amount of, I'm sure that all of the, like our shoulder straps and our belts and everything were covered. They were caked with salt from
Yeah.
sweat. I mean, it was pretty gross.
Yeah.
When I was scrubbing them in the bathtub, we put some Tide in the bathtub and filled it up with warm water, and I just scrubbed the crap out of them. I mean, they're Dyneema packs, so I was able to roll the tops down and keep the insides fairly dry. And I just scrubbed the crap out of the outside, and they were kind of slimy. They were a little disgusting.
Just like us. We were kind of slimy too. But
I
that's it for us, huh? Yeah.
guess.
When you get up here, consider the bypass at Wolf Rocks. That's the takeaway.
No, go play with the snakes.
No, don't do it.
Do it. Do it.
Night.
Good witch, bad witch.
Night.
Night, kids.